Today's class is about how to connect and how to meditate with Shakyamuni Buddha. First of all, I'm going to speak a little bit about Buddha. I'm not going to go through all his story, his life, because that is not the point of the class. If you want to know about his life, you can read any book about him. So I'm just going to say a little few things, and then we will learn how to meditate on him, how to create a link to him. His name, as I was saying before, his social name or his human name was not Shakyamuni. His social name was Siddhartha Gautama. That was his name given by their parent. I'm gonna write it on the chat. That is that was his family name. And then his spiritual name is Shakyamuni Buddha. Okay? And we normally call it Shakyamuni, or we call him Buddha. The first thing that we have to consider is that Buddha, all his teaching were adapted to the time and to the moment where he was living. So at that moment when he was alive, he came from the Hindu tradition, he came from studying the Veda text. And after spending so many years practicing yoga, practicing the Veda text, he realized that he had not achieved what he was looking for. He always was looking for the way to completely free himself from suffering. And he realized that the yoga and the Veda text that he was practicing was not leading him into the liberation of suffering. Even when he practiced the asceticism and when he practiced everything, he will not achieve the freedom of the suffering. And for that reason, he decided to go on his own path. He decided to let go everything that he had learned before and go by his own, trying to discover the way out of the suffering. And he did it. He found his way. And when he found that way, he dedicated the rest of his life to teach others how to do it. He spent all his life trying to guide people into the path that can free you from suffering. And that is what we study now, the wisdom of Buddha. Every time that we speak about the wisdom of Buddha, you have to understand that it is much more important to practice Buddha's teaching than to know them by heart. I know so many Buddhist people that they know all the sutras, they know everything by heart, but then they don't apply the wisdom in their actions. So the way that we teach in Mahasriya is the other way around. We don't mind if you don't know a sutra or a vow by heart. The only thing that matters is that you apply the wisdom, that you try to be better in your life, that you try to help others whenever you can, that you try to live your life from compassion and from kindness instead of from provoking suffering and instead of going into war. So there is one specific wisdom of Buddha. Buddha taught a lot of different things, but there is a specific wisdom that I want to bring back because it is one of the most important wisdom. That wisdom is about the expedient means. I'm gonna explain it from my point of view. I'm gonna use also some example from Buddha, but if you want to read his teaching about it, you can read the Lotus Sutra. I cannot remember which chapter it is. I believe that it's within the first 8 chapters, and the chapter is called Expedient Means. Okay, so anyway, you can look at it there. When Buddha awoke and when he was free from suffering, the next thing that he did was to go back to the path, to the street of that moment, and there was a guy walking on the street, and that guy was suffering. He was angry. He was all the time in his mind trying to understand, trying to relieve all the suffering that he was feeling. So Shakyamuni went to him. Um, no matter the exact word, Shakyamuni said to that guy, "Hey, why are you suffering? Don't you know that there is no suffering? Don't you know that suffering is not real?" Now, try to imagine what that guy answered to Buddha. Probably he didn't answer nothing nice. Imagine that you go on the street and you say to the first person walking on, you say, "Hey, all your suffering is not real. Why are you making so much drama? Why are you suffering?" So that guy rejected Buddha. That guy didn't want to listen to Buddha. So, like I like to say, for all of us that we are teachers, Buddha lost his first student. And that is quite a relief from all of us that we teach, because sometimes it happens. So, anyway, after that experience, Buddha realized that that was not the way. That he could not approach someone to say, "Hey, anything that you are living is real. Your suffering is not real." So Buddha thought, okay, I need to create a mean. I need to create a special mean, an expedient mean, so I can teach them how to free themselves from suffering. But instead of going directly and giving them the wisdom directly, instead of that, I'm going to use different ways, different means, so they can understand and so they can free themselves from all that suffering. And in that moment was when Buddha created what we call the expedient mean. An expedient means it's a way that you adapt the wisdom, or that you adapt your way of speaking, your way of behaving, you adapt yourself to others. Breathe. Normally, you have this idea that people should adapt to you. You have a family, maybe some of you have some daughter or son, and you want them to adapt to you. You go to a place and you want to be understood. You want everyone around you to understand you. However, an expedient means is not about being understood. It's not about making others adapt to yourself. It is about you adapting to others. It's the other way around. In the moment that you are able to adapt to others, in that moment is when you can guide them into what they need and what they want. So the expedient mean is a very, very important teaching of Buddha, and that it's useful not only for those of you that are therapeutic or that you guide people or teacher or whatever, but also in your normal life. If any time that you are speaking to your family, your lover, your boss, if you apply the wisdom of expedient mean, you will find the best way to speak to that person, to make yourself understood, to understand the other. And everyone around yourself will feel much better. Breathe. I want to explain something that has been misunderstood of Buddha's wisdom. In a second, I will be back in the expedient mean. However, there is a teaching of Buddha that has been very misunderstood during the times. And it is about saying that Buddha taught that nothing is real and that everything is happening in your mind and in the mind of everyone. Buddha never taught that. Buddha's teaching was nothing that you perceive is real. Buddha was always speaking about your perception. But Buddha never said that the world was not real. Buddha never said that your body was not real or matter was not real. Buddha never said that. Buddha said what you perceive is not real because your perception is filtered by your culture, by your system of belief, by your preference, by your understanding, by your age, your maturity. So your perception is what is not pure, is not what is real. However, everything in life is real. The table, your computer, yourself, your hand, everything is real. However, nothing is what you perceive that this thing is. And this makes a huge change because it's not real that everything is happening in your mind. Your perception is what is not accuracy, is what is not precise, and it is what you have to work so you will purify your perception and then you start to free yourself from the suffering. Okay, so I wanted to explain that because it's a very common misunderstanding. Everything that you live is real. Your perception of what you are living, it is not. That was Buddha's teaching. Okay? So based on that, Buddha was always looking for the best way to guide people to purify that perception, trying to adapt himself so everyone could get access to the wisdom in the way that they wanted. There is a nice story in that chapter of the Lotus Sutra where there is an old man that he's quite old and he's walking back to his house. And when he arrives to his house, he discovers that his house is in flames. There is a fire in his house. And the first thing that comes to his mind is, I have too many children. All my children are inside the house. And I have to get all the children out of the house or they are gonna die. So he starts to think, okay, I'm gonna tell them to get out. And he starts shouting to the children, hey, come on, children, get out of the house. The house is on fire. You have to get away of there or you're gonna die. And no matter how strong that old man will shout, that nobody will come out of the house. So he was getting nervous and he was thinking, if I go inside and I try to bring my children back, I can carry 2, maybe 3, but everyone else is going to die there. And in that moment, that old man said, I'm gonna find a way. I'm gonna be wise and I'm gonna find a way that they will understand the importance of getting out of that house. And in that moment, that man started to say, hey, children, all the toys that I have always promised you to buy, all the balls, all the toys that you have always wanted are here in the street. And you have to run and come to pick them up before any other children take it from you. So come on, everyone, come out to take your toys. And in that moment, all the children started to run away from the house. The older child will help the smaller to get out of the house. And that was the way that this man could save the life of all his children. Breathe. So, was that man lying to his children? And the answer is no. The toys are a metaphor. What is a toy for a children? The thing that they have fun, the thing that they can enjoy and entertain themselves. So when the man say, get out of the house because your toys are here, what he was saying is, get out of the house because it is out of the house that you can entertain, that you can have fun. Because if you stay inside the house, you're gonna die. That is the metaphor of the toy. Then the story continues, and this man went to a toy shop and he bought all the toys to his children to make sure that none of them will feel disappointed. Great. That is one of the explanations that Buddha gave about an expedient means. That old man was wise enough to speak in the language that the children would understand, to motivate the children to do not what the children wanted to do, but what was the best for them. And this is the importance of expedient means. You always have to try to find the way to adapt to others. Whenever you are teaching or whenever you are in a discussion or in an argument, you have to find a way to adapt to the others, so the other will understand, so the other will feel better. What Buddha called expedient means is very similar to what Jesus used to say as metaphor. Every time that Jesus would out using metaphor, that was the way of Jesus using expedient means. Even one of his disciples asked Jesus one time, "Hey, Master, why do you speak to metaphor to everyone? And when you are with us, you speak the truth?" And Jesus answered, "They cannot understand the truth directly, so I have to explain them through metaphor." So every great master of the story has always understood that it is you that you have to adapt to others, not the other way around. And I want to add something here for all of you that you are teachers or spiritual guide or that you help people. This is the clue to be an efficient guide, to be able to guide everyone into what they are feeling. If you are giving some therapy or you are helping someone, you have to learn to use their words. You have to learn to use their way to express yourself and to show yourself in the way that the other is going to need, instead of the way that you want to express yourself and you want to teach. Okay? Spiritual teacher, normally they have a difficulty. And that difficulty is that spiritual teachers, when they want to teach what they want. And this is the main reason of failure of many teachers. You have to learn to teach what they want, what they need, not what you want to teach. This is what makes the difference. And I'm going to put an example with myself. When I started teaching here in Mexico, there is a specific technique that we teach called Kuyi-in. It's a very efficient meditation technique. But here in Mexico was not known because nobody was teaching it. So when I arrived here from Spain, I decided to start teaching Kuyi-in. And I will do my advertising, my flyer saying Kuyi-in meditation. and nobody came because nobody knew what Kuyin was. So I say, okay, this is not working. I'm gonna find a different way. So instead of putting Kuyin meditation, I put meditation classes and Kuyin a bit smaller. Then people started to came to my class. I started to have students. But then two of them complained that my classes were not meditation classes, was therapy classes, and that I speak too much and we meditate not enough or a little bit. And I said, okay, he just gave me the clue. First, it is true that during my classes I speak a lot and we do small meditation here and there. The main reason for that is that if you are gonna take a cooking class with a chef, you don't want to do the same recipe one and over again with the cooker. You want to learn new recipes every time, and you want to learn more tips to cook. So my way of teaching is I give you the wisdom, I give you things to awaken, and I teach you how to meditate. We do a small meditation, and then you have to do your work at home. Okay, so this is why I teach in that way. But anyway, that person gave me the clue. So I went back and I redesigned my advertising. What did I put this time? In big, personal growth and meditation. Kuyin, so this size. And when I did that, all my classes were completely full. Because at the end, I succeeded to know what people were looking for. So instead of saying, remaining in the proud of, I want to teach Kuyin, what I did was to adapt to them. Okay, they want to know about personal growth. Okay, let's do it. Now, 4 years after, they are looking for me to teach them Kuyin. Because 4 years after, they know Kuyin now is known here because I taught it a lot. But at the beginning, I have to adapt to them. Breathe. Whenever I'm gonna give a class, I don't teach what I want to teach. I teach what the people want, what the people need. And I sacrifice my preferences. And this is what you have to do if you are teaching or guiding people in your life. The more that you do it, the more success that you will have, the more efficient your wisdom will be, and the happier your student will also be. Okay? What's the way to create an expedient mean? The first thing that you have to do is you have to sacrifice your preference. What prevents you to find as an expedient mean is your pride, wanting to do the things on your way, and to be stuck in a structure, to try to control. All of that, the control, the pride, is what doesn't allow you to find the best way to speak to your lover, to your parent, or to your students. It is good to have some structure or to have something prepared whenever you are going to face a discussion, an argument, or a class, or something like that. But then, if you are stuck into that, you are in the control. You are trying to control, and that is what doesn't allow you to adapt and to flow into what the other person needs. So the first thing that you have to do to find an expedient mean at your work, wherever you want to do, is to sacrifice and to pay attention to integrate. We will do it in a second. To integrate your pride, your control, and to accept to go out of a structure, to think out of the box. And the other thing important to find An appropriate expedient mean is never, absolutely never, base an expedient mean on a lie. Lying is never good. So don't use lie, justifying yourself that you are trying to find an expedient mean, because it is not. The wiser you are, the easier you find to create expedient mean. But all those means has to be based in truth, because otherwise there is no compassion and there will be suffering, because it will be a lie, not an expedient mean. Okay? So keep that in mind. Never lie to create an expedient mean. There is always, absolutely always, there is a way to do it from truth. Okay? This is not the only teaching that Buddha gave, of course. It is one of them. In different classes, sometimes I speak of different wisdom. And today I wanted to speak about how to adapt to others, the importance of adapting you to others instead of waiting everyone to adapt to yourself. That will make your life much more easier in every sense, and it will also make easier the life of people around you. Okay? Now we come back to Buddha, Shakyamuni. First, the word Buddha in Sanskrit means awake, to be awake. And Shakyamuni is called the Buddha because he was the one that awoke. Today I'm going to teach you two different ways of creating a link and how to connect with Buddha. But before we do it, I want to be very clear on something. When you meditate or you pray to any ascended master, you have to check your attitude. Praying or meditating on an ascended master, he won't save you. They are not saviors. Jesus never said that he was going to save you. For you to understand, when Buddha saw that at the time most of the people were praying Brahma as God. In Hinduism, God is called Brahma. Okay? And at that time, they were praying to Brahma, and they represented Brahma as a man with four arms and different things, like a little bit like today, some Catholics represent God as this old man with white beard in the cloud dressing on white. Okay? In the same way that some people do it now. At that time, people were praying Brahma as if Brahma was a human being with four arms and sitting there, and Brahma was going to come to save them. For that reason, Buddha said, that Brahma that you are praying does not exist. He never meant that Brahma or God does not exist. Again, he said, to the one that you are praying, to that image of a man with four arms sitting there that will come to save you, that doesn't exist. So for that reason, for a while, Buddha simply did not spoke about God or about Brahma. He did not deny his existence. He simply did not speak that much, because he wanted people to stop praying to something that was not real. And he wanted people to understand that nobody is going to come to save you from your suffering, and that the only way to be out of samsara and to reach nirvana is through your own work, through your own contemplation. In that way, whenever we meditate or we pray Buddha, Jesus, Krishna, Melchizedek, or whoever ascended master you want to pray, if you go into this attitude of Jesus, I want you to save me, or Buddha, I want you to save me, they won't. And they won't even look at you, because that was not their teaching, that was not their wisdom. Breathe. The only way out of your suffering is going into the suffering consciously. It's what we call conscious suffering. Then, once you understand that, praying or meditating on ascended master is very, very helpful. What makes the difference is your attitude. Whenever you approach Brahma, Vishnu or Shiva, or Buddha or Jesus, whenever you approach to any kind of divinity, your attitude should be to learn from them, to allow them to influence you and to guide you in what they can guide you, but never with the intention that they will save you, because they won't. So I'm going to teach how to connect with Buddha. And when you do that, it's because you want to feel his presence, you want to feel touched by Buddha, you want to learn about compassion, and because you want him to help you and guide you in your life, but not because he will save you. Okay? I hope this is clear enough. Anytime that you approach a divinity like Buddha and you ask for help and you ask them to guide you in any way, if your intention is pure and if you connect with them, they will help you. And then you have to be open to find the way and to understand the way that they will show you the wisdom, that they will guide you, because each of them is completely different. I'm going to teach you how to meditate on Buddha, but then it is exactly the same way to do it with Jesus, with Krishna, with any other ascended being. It's the same way to connect with them. And if you start to practice meditating on different ascended beings, you will start to feel the difference. For example, if you meditate on Melchizedek, which is the master of Kabbalah, he's the master of severity. And the feeling that you will have with Melchizedek is completely different from Jesus, because Jesus it's all about love and forgiveness, and Buddha it's about compassion and simplicity. So you have to be open to allow yourself to be taught, to be influenced by the master that you are going to contemplate. Okay? Any doubts so far? Okay. What is the benefit of meditating on Buddha specifically? Buddha is the master of compassion and simplicity. Buddha doesn't believe in drama. And Buddha it's always in a state of take things as they are. take life as it is. It is the pure state of Tathagata, of taking everything as it is, and remaining in simplicity, and remaining in compassion always. So anytime that you feel that you are going through a difficult process, where you are in the drama, or when your suffering is too strong, meditating on Buddha will help you to contemplate that suffering and to relieve that suffering. And then every time that you meditate on him, you will learn and understand more about simplicity, compassion, expedient means, and how to free yourself from the suffering by contemplating. Okay? So it's very, very useful to meditate on Buddha. And we are going to do the meditation. We are going to do a meditation. So get ready to meditate, sit comfortable, and breathe in your abdomen. Pay attention to your abdomen while you breathe. You breathe and you are conscious of your breathing. And start to think how much you want to control your life. How much you want to control everyone around you. How much you are completely sure that your point of view or your way of doing things is the good way. And you pay attention to that pride. And you breathe in that pride that says you, my way of doing things is the good way. I know how to do things. Others should do it my way. Pay attention to all kind of these thoughts. Because if you want to connect with Buddha, you have to accept that Buddha can bring you something. You have to be in humility of saying, Buddha, I want to learn from you, which means that there is something that I still don't know. And for that, you have to defeat your pride and your control. So breathe in your abdomen and allow yourself to feel the pride and the control. And you are conscious that you are conscious of your pride, of your control. And you allow that pride and that control to be dissolved. I don't know everything. I have no control of life or others. And you keep breathing what want to control, to fight and to be in pride. Breathe and feel it. allowing it to disappear through your consciousness. And you also let go all the structure of and system in your head. Your system of belief, your culture. You allow all of that to go away. The more you do it, the more you are going into a state of humility. And you might realize that a fear appears. Now there is a fear present. Pay attention to that fear. Feel that fear now. The fear of the unknown, of not knowing. That fear of not knowing is what makes you go into the pride of pretending that you already know. So now focus yourself in the fear of being lost, in the fear of not knowing the truth, in the fear of not knowing how to dissolve your suffering. And become aware of that fear. Feel it in your abdomen while you breathe. Don't try to run away from the fear. Go into it. Breathe it. Sink into the fear while you breathe. And still there is some fears, so keep it breathing. Continue breathing that fear. Take a deep breath once in a while and continue paying attention inside. And slowly you keep paying attention to your breath, but you let go that topic. And you simply remain conscious that you are conscious. And in your mind you repeat, I am conscious that I am conscious. And you keep yourself into this state of humility. And from that humility, awake the passion, the wish to connect with Buddha. And you open yourself to contemplate and to connect with Buddha. And you can contemplate his name, Shakyamuni Buddha. And you contemplate Buddha and his name with no expectation. You simply allow yourself to feel Shakyamuni Buddha. Shakyamuni Buddha. Shakyamuni Buddha. Buddha. Shakyamuni Buddha. Shakyamuni Buddha. Simplicity, compassion. You can free yourself from the suffering. There is an end of the suffering. And this is the only outcome for you. There is no suffering. Shakyamuni Buddha. Shakyamuni Buddha. Allow that consciousness and that energy to sink into your mind, your emotions, your energy, and your physical body. Shakyamuni Buddha. Shakyamuni Buddha. And the Buddha is with you. Shakyamuni Buddha. There is no drama. There is no suffering. Everything is just as it is. Simplicity. Shakyamuni Buddha. And allow Shakyamuni to go into your heart. Open your heart and allow Buddha to go in there. Allow Buddha to interact with you as he wants. Shakyamuni Buddha. Shakyamuni Buddha. Shakyamuni Buddha. There is compassion, there is love, there is simplicity, there is awakening. Buddha. And you take a deep breath and slowly you allow yourself to come back from the meditation. You stretch your body if you need it, and you can write on the chat your experience or how you are feeling. Let me know in the chat when you are back from the meditation. Good. Apart from being back, how are you feeling now? What did you feel during the meditation? So anytime you want to connect with Buddha, you can do it this way. You sit to contemplate and you start to repeat his name, allowing yourself to feel it. Okay? To create a link with Buddha is not only done by a 15-minute meditation. Today, through this meditation, in a metaphoric way, what I did was to introduce you to Shakyamuni Buddha. To say, Shakyamuni Buddha meet these people meet Shakyamuni Buddha. Okay? But now it is your work to nourish that link. Okay? And for that, you have to meditate on Buddha, you have to contemplate him. The more that you do it, the stronger it will be your link with him, and the more that he will start to guide you. When you meditate on Buddha, you can simply meditate on him and allow him to influence you. And at some point, you can also ask him a question. You can ask him a question, or you can ask him to guide you into a specific process, and he will do it on his way. Okay? So try to meditate on him in a different way, just to feel him, or to ask him to help you in something specific, and then be aware the following days on how your life happened or what happened in your life, because it is normally through normal life that you will see something different. Okay? There is also a mantra that we call the mantra of Buddha. And that mantra is Om Muni Muni Mahamunaye Swaha. Muni means someone that is holy, someone that is very, very wise. Maha means great or big. So Muni Muni Mahamunaye means the holy, holy, great, holy man, which is Buddha. Swaha means sacrifice. Sacrifice in the sense of the effort that you will do to connect with Buddha. So you can meditate on Buddha by reciting his name, or by contemplating and reciting Om Muni Muni Mahamunaye Swaha. If you want to charge this mantra, you do 9 malas for 12 days in a row. Okay? You pick your mala, and with your thumb, you repeat Om Muni Muni Mahamunaye Swaha, 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 and you go like that. When you arrive back into the tail, you have done 1 mala. You have 8 to go. Okay? And you do 9 of those for 12 days. And you will start to create a stronger link with Buddha.